This is the basement of our home on 1 Drexel Avenue in Havertown. December 18th, 1965.
And it's the first time I'm meeting about 50 or more cousins and aunts and great aunts of Alvino.
A little love slap.
My cousin's husband is taking the film. My cousin is dressed in red.
And this is so Mom, what she does here with Bee's mom.
And here is also the first time I saw an Italian cake, which was high. I don't know how high, but it was a typical cream and vanilla and chocolate cream. And my mother had decorated, and obviously my mother-in-law had made a cake.
Adriana, my Mexican sister from Jalapa, Veracruz. We had a dinner, which I came to late. Beatriz was a bit upset, because I had gathered together some friends who were musicians for a serenade. Mr. Nacchio playing the guitar, the mandolin. And this is at Jeanette Idiakis' house, where the bride-to-be was staying with her family.
And they were delayed because I think they were waiting for one of the musicians. So this thing didn't start until 11.
Oh, el tío.
El tío?
El tío, yeah.
Augusto. And this is next morning.
Next morning, people getting ready.
And this is my cousin's house.
For the wedding.
And I'm getting ready there, and Alvino is getting ready at his house. However, one of the brothers, Richard, came with the father's car to pick us up. This is my mother, my aunt Lolita, my sister in brown, my aunt Teresa, my father's younger sister.
In the background, Egda and Roxana.
My father on the left. And here is the one thing that I wasn't used to. I had to pose for the professional photographer and following instructions. Do this, move your head, do this, all of this. Very non-spontaneous, but I had to go through the whole motion of posing. The dress was from Saks. Sia got all of the dresses for the nieces there. And the mantilla was sent to me from Spain. It was a round mantilla that then Roxana used and Carla.
And that's Jeanette, who
You met.
the cousin. And we met originally in 3 years before the wedding, I guess 1963, at a party at her house. And there's her father.
And my aunt, my uncle. And
Lisa.
the dresses of Lisa and Debbie were imitation of the bridesmaids' dresses that I wanted them to have the same style, so I made the dresses for the two of them.
So that's the entire wedding party minus
It's my sister
groom.
Alina in green.
Adriana, Teresa, Roxana, Egda from Venezuela.
Packing.
And the bouquets.
And then Ronnie. And
Ronnie
Richard.
and Richard, who was one of the ushers. Church was St. Bernadette's in Drexel Hill. This is January 22nd. It's a rather cold winter morning.
Larry arriving.
Larry, my oldest brother.
Or leaving your house.
And that's leaving my house in Drexel Hill. That's my father, my mother, and before us were Raymond Chung and myself.
You see, the hat doesn't match the coat, so she had to take the little cape to change it in church.
That's Tia.
The victim.
Uh-huh.
There is Al, and they want to make sure that he makes it to church.
Here's Tia Delina. And my mother.
Put in her stall.
Mom, Larry. And the guests are arriving.
That's Lorraine with Lori in front. And Marlene with Joy.
My Uncle Ralph Tedesco.
Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Rick's mother, Sonia.
Sonia. There's Giuseppe, Joe, Mr. Raciello. And there's Raymond Chung and I.
Raymond with the flowers.
Joe is grabbing my arm to make sure I don't run away at the last moment.
There's Paul Fallon.
Paul Fallon, cousin. Loreto. There's Bill and Adriana, Egda and Raymond, my mother-in-law,
My father.
and my father-in-law,
And again we're
the
walking.
bride and groom. Lisa,
Okay.
Roxana and Joe, Adriana and Bill, Egda and Raymond.
And this is in the lobby of the church.
Uncle Joseph Dowie on the right, Richard. Hi, Richard. Julie.
Julie Di Giovanni.
There's his sister, and there's Sally.
And there's Rosemary.
And
There's Andot.
Andot,
There's Larry.
Loreto,
There's Skip or
Skip,
Skip, yeah.
and Andot again, and Sia, and Mrs.
Mrs. Kersey. And there is Bill Fantini.
Bill, so young, so young.
His mother and Grace, the youngest sister, is it? And Rita
And
Marcantuono in red, and Agnes Lista in behind her.
Angus,
This is Lorraine's mother, Mr. and Mrs. Cordelli. There's Julie and Richard. There's Patty Von Plato. My brother-in-law,
Enrique Sanchez de Lozada,
Pat,
Ron
Vince
Valenti,
Rosino.
and Vince Rosino,
That's
Lisa, bride and groom. Oh, sweetie.
my mother, my father. I feel like a movie star because everybody's taking cameras, and it's not like today. They were actual flash cameras. The crowd from Vermont on the right.
Oh, I didn't see the crowd from Vermont.
Yeah, it was
but,
Gita.
Gita Schmidt and Shirley Capron and John Lee, who was my former cabin mate.
There's
Tom Shaw.
Javier Espinosa,
Oh, Javier Espinosa.
who was dating my sister at the time.
Deborah. Marie from New Jersey.
Eva,
Eva, there's Patty. There's Betty Ann. Betty Ann Chase. Victor
Cardozo,
Cardozo,
the Richard Alone,
my little brother.
the Greenbrier Country Club, where then were turned into the Watergate Apartments in Philadelphia.
This is where the reception was held, and we're entering the ballroom. Javier and Egda,
And Richard Alone,
and Richard walking all alone. My aunt Sia.
my father, Ralph, Uncle Ralph. Oh, Robert Donzi.
Robert Dancy, and then Julie.
Now the dancing
And let's
time.
see, we're dancing the cha-cha.
They had chose cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha.
What kind of music were they playing?
All kinds.
All kinds. And
Look
then
at
they
Lorraine.
did some Greek music, and then regular ballroom music.
And the musicians.
Now
Lorraine
Lorraine and Larry.
My sweet sister, Lorraine.
Mrs. Gervais walking in blue.
And the Pollocks.
Debbie doing a solo.
Mhm.
And there's Lynn
Look at
and
them.
Lisa.
Oh, my
And Lynn looks bored.
Look how cute they are. Darling.
Roxana and Ferdinando
My
Marini,
father.
a friend.
He was very happy. Look at him bouncing around.
Lucy Di Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Eva and Ruth.
Eva and her friend,
Mrs. Kersey and Mrs. Corelli.
Cordelli.
And Julie.
And Julie.
And Lynn.
Lynn. Hi, Lenny. You cutie.
And Lori appeared over there. She was sick that day, but she's there near the cake.
She's our godchild.
That's Joey.
Joey.
Little Joey. There's Lorraine.
And that's Lori.
Oh, Lorraine. That's Lori.
Lori.
Sinatra.
Patty.
Patty.
Okay, here's
There's
the moment.
critical moment that.
And let's see, Betty Ann Chase grabs the
And there's Shirley
bouquet.
Capron in the back.
There's Shirley Capron in her famous dress. And once again. And the men line up. Because, wait just a
All the
second
men line
here.
up. The tall one's in front.
All the guys line up, all right, and the moment comes, and I toss
And look at Bill.
this,
Look at Bill.
and they're getting ready, and there's Bill.
Got it. And this is at the Virgin Islands Hotel,
Honeymoon at the
St. Thomas.
the Villa Fairview was the name of the
No,
hotel.
the Danish Chalet, the Danish Chalet. We couldn't be at the Fairview. There was no space. It was called the Danish Chalet, a
St.
new
Thomas,
hotel.
from the Virgin Islands. And looking around the island where I used to work with the Peace Corps, the Peace Corps training here, which is one of the reasons why we ended up going to the Virgin Islands in the first place for the honeymoon. We didn't have any reservations there. When we told our friends that we were going on our honeymoon and had no reservations, Betty Ann and Ann Janeway were concerned. They said, "You can't go on a
It was
honeymoon
it
like
was
that."
high season, so
they
were
made
concerned.
reservations for us. I kind of felt, I know the place, I know my way around, and I don't know what I was thinking, but we went.
And it was a new hotel, so new that the bathroom didn't have a door.
No door.
And I felt very funny going to the bathroom with this new husband and no door, so I had to send him out actually. I said, Alvino, I'm sorry, but I have to go to the bathroom. Can you out? Can you go out?
We were
And he
there
did.
for a week. By Wednesday, we were out of money. We sent a telegram back home, SOS.
To Richard.
Richard, I believe, sent us another
$200
$200 or so,
to $200, yeah.
which we managed to spend again in the next 2 days, somehow. So that by Saturday, when we were ready to come back home,
Of course, this was before credit cards, so everything had to be cash.
we had about $5 left between us, but weren't concerned because we were going to fly from the Virgin Islands through San Juan, Puerto Rico, back to Philly, where Richard would pick us up. What happened was we got to the airport, and it turned out there was a blizzard in Philadelphia. We had to take a flight to New York City with $5,
Certainly.
which we did.
So we got to New York, didn't have money for the taxi. We took a taxi anyway, got to my mother's house, and Alvino asked my mother to put her purse in the elevator so we could pay the taxi. So we paid the taxi and went upstairs. It was like early, 6 in the morning, I think. Cold.
And that shirt that I had on.
And Alvino had a summer suit, and the jacket was linen, a blue linen jacket, and that little Batista shirt.
Yeah.
And of course he got a cold. And that's it.
And so here we are, 50 years later,
Yeah.
looking at these movies taken in 1966.